Hello, welcome to my channel, Another Bibliophile Reads. My name is Greg, and today I am doing the Extraordinarily Average Tag. This was created by David Wiley, and I was tagged by Aaron Facer and Garth at Books, Songs, and Other Magic. There are 9 prompts to this tag. And a lot of these questions are going to be asking, what is average? And I had to think about that a little bit, about what it means to be average. And for a lot of the books, I'm just going to say is a book that was once popular, but now has fallen off. And you'll see. I think someone else gave that exact same description, and I'm sort of stealing their idea. Well, anyway, prompt number 1. What is a book that is viewed as average, but you felt was extraordinary? I'm going to go with An American Tragedy by Theodore Dreiser. At one time, Dreiser wasn't a major American figure in literature, but he has fallen from favor quite steeply. His first major book was Sister Carrie, about a woman of ill repute in Chicago, and he treated her with sort of respect. He did not degrade her, as a lot of people back then would have degraded the women of ill repute. But the novel I'm thinking about is An American Tragedy. It is the story of Clyde Griffiths. He is a Midwestern boy trying to make it big in the world. Sort of like Horatio Alger stories, but Clyde Griffiths has a little more trouble than the characters of Horatio Alger. He gets in trouble as a hotel bellhop and has to flee, and then he flees to a relative in, I think it's in New York State, to become sort of a manager in a shirt collar factory. And he falls for one of the shop girls, and they have an illicit relationship, what would be considered illicit back then. It just means they're having premarital sex. And of course, the woman gets pregnant, and she wants Clyde to marry her and take her away so she could have a legitimate baby, and then they can work out other arrangements. But Clyde, he's in love with a society girl, and he's actually making headway with the society girl. So what is a poor boy of limited intelligence? Should we say that? Maybe that's a little bit cruel. What is a poor boy supposed to do with a pregnant girl in an age when abortion is completely illegal? To do with his girlfriend? Well, obviously the choice is murder. And things just do not go well with Clyde and murder. And it is just a fascinating story of a boy who has sort of a doomed existence. He cannot get out of his fate. In many ways, it's sort of a little bit like Thomas Hardy, where Clyde just seems incapable of getting away from what some sort of fate life wants to give him. And I just found it an extraordinary novel. I first read it when I was junior in college, not for the college class. I just read it outside my class, and I was reading that book instead of reading other required materials. I was that fascinated with it. I reread it recently a few years ago and still really liked it, but that fascination of when I was a young man, reading about a young man, it was a little off, but still a book that I really can recommend. Prompt number 2. Who is an author who is viewed as average, but you feel was extraordinary? W. Somerset Maugham. I feel that his rising star as an author has fallen. And at one time he was very popular. And he wrote a few extraordinary books. I am thinking of The Razor's Edge, The Moon and Sixpence. Those are my two favorite. The Razor's Edge is about Larry. He's a World War I combat veteran who gets shell-shocked out of life. He just cannot adjust to life after war and wanders the world thinking about Eastern religions and other philosophies and deciding that the most important thing he can do eventually is become a cab driver, if I remember correctly. The Moon and Sixpence is a fictionalized story of Paul Gauguin. He is the author who went to Tahiti to become a painter late in life. Another fascinating novel. Another novel not quite as good is The Magician, which is another fictionalized story featuring Aleister Crowley. I've read a few of his other books, such as his big one, Of Human Bondage. I like that one. Not as much as the first two, but it's still a very good one. I might have read some other ones, but I do like Somerset Maugham. He has a very English manner to him. And he was a spy in real life. How cool is that? Prompt number 3. Who is a musician or band whose music is considered average, but you felt was extraordinary? I'm going to cheat a little here. I'm going to go with a composer, and I'm going to pick Carl Orff. He is most famously known for his song cycle, Carmina Burana, that is from a text of a medieval text of Latin songs. These would have been songs that people would have been singing in the Latin taverns way back when. And he composed them to modern music. And the opening song, O Fortuna, is just this fabulous, it just rivets you with his music. And you have this Latin singing. And it's complete, the Latin just does not meet the music. The music is completely pre-war Germany. Fascinating. And for whatever reason, this song often gets stuck into medieval movies where they're trying to give a medieval feel to it, and the music is not medieval at all. But it is a great piece of music. And the other songs in this cycle, some of them are achingly beautiful, like the one about a goose being cooked, and the goose is lamenting being cooked. That's another beautiful song. And after I listened to that CD and bought them, I was in my 20s. I went out and bought some other music by Carl Orff and was going, it just never happened. That's, Carmina Burana was the hit that Carl Orff wrote, and it is extraordinary. But other than that, he was kind of a nothing burger for other music. Prompt number 4. What is a TV show or movie that is considered average, but you felt was extraordinary? I'm going to go with Johnny Sacco and his flying robot. I watched those shows when I was just a little kid. They're Japanese monster movies. And in this premise is that alien beings known as the Gargoyle Gang and run by Emperor Guillotine is out to take over the world. And they're going to take over the world by having giant monsters attack it. And then there is this organization called Unicorn. And this little boy named Johnny Sacco is shipwrecked on a boat that's attacked by a giant monster. And they come across the headquarters of the Gargoyle Gang. And Johnny Sacco takes over this giant robot that the Gargoyle Gang was going to unleash upon the world. But because he spoke to it first, he's the only person who can control it. And now this giant robot goes out and fights other giant monsters. And I think there's like 26 episodes in this TV show, and every show has a different monster that the giant robot gets to fight. It is incredibly dumb. The special effects are incredibly dumb. The plots are incredibly dumb. And overall, the show is just incredibly dumb. But as a kid watching that show. Oh man, did I dig that show as a kid. It was just the best thing that you could ever watch other than Ultraman. And that's it. As an adult, I tried to rewatch some of them. Leave that extraordinariness back when I was a kid and leave it there. But one of the things is that that show could be extraordinary without any of those big special effects. And that's sort of what's missing from modern movies is they give you a lot of the special effects, but they don't have that the magic that can grip you like you could when you're a lot younger. They just give you effects. Prompt number 5. What is a booktube channel whose subscriber count is average, but you feel is extraordinary? I am going to go with Book Time with Ryan. I just love his demeanor, the way he speaks into the camera. He's always clear. He's articulate. He occasionally talks about books that I like, sometimes books that I don't care for, but he's still worth watching. He likes Moby Dick. He collects good editions of Moby Dick and books about Moby Dick and whales, and just otherwise pretty fascinating. But his subscriber count is way below where it should be. So go subscribe to Book Time with Ryan. Prompt number 6. What is a skill you are average at, but you would like to become extraordinary? Handwriting. When I say my handwriting is average, I'm lying. My handwriting is below average. It is just a scrawl of a chicken with ink on its claws. It's just terrible. And I would like to have legible and elegant handwriting, but that's not going to happen in this lifetime. Prompt number 7. You find a time machine that will take you back in time for a day, but the day you select must be an average day. Where would you go and what would you do to make the trip extraordinary? I'm going to go sort of out on a limb, and I'm going to go with the Cretaceous period. That's the dinosaur era. I would set myself up, hidden, probably safely within my time machine, and just observe the dinosaurs and the other flora and fauna, because it's a fascinating period. And it would be kind of fun to watch dinosaurs roam and hunt and do whatever dinosaurs do. Prompt number 8. You win a week vacation, but all the popular travel spots are all booked out. Where would you go and what would you do to make the trip extraordinary? What does it mean by all the special spots? Can I pick Chicago? Chicago's a fun place to visit. It's just a city, and I can visit a cousin who has an apartment, or I should say a condo over Lincoln Park. And it's just fun to go to Chicago and ride the public transportation to the art museums, or the bookstores, or the restaurants, and then just enjoy a common day doing those sorts of things. That would be a lot of fun. Prompt number 9. Tag some extraordinary channels. Let's go with Jim's Books, Reading, and Stuff. Let's go with Read by Fred. And because he's been mentioned earlier, let's go with Book Time with Ryan. Thank you for watching, and keep on reading.